Hi guys, Tamara here. I am so honored and so excited to teach this class or practice. Communing with your spirit guides 101, just the basics that we need. There is so much that goes into this, and also it's so simple. Isn't that kind of life? Where we are going to start is seated, and we're going to just protect our energy and tune in. So come to seated, sitting upright with just enough energy to stay upright, releasing the tension and strain to the earth beneath you, and bringing your attention to your breath. Slow, smooth inhale through your nose. Slow, smooth exhale out to your mouth. See if you can elongate the inhale and exhale, so make it a little bit longer, a little bit smoother without strain. Wiggle however you need to bring a little more comfort, a little more uprightness to your body. And then having a soft gaze to the ground or your eyes closed. Staying in your seat, in your body, in your breath. Imagine you have a bubble around you, a bubble of light, and it can be whatever color you like. This little force field is going to be 6 feet in diameter all around you, 6 feet above, 6 feet out, 6 feet under. And it can be whatever color. It can be pink, it can be white, it can be clear, it can be blue, black, red, whatever color you want. And put all of your energy and all your imagination into what that force field, what that bubble, what that divine light that's protecting you, what that looks like. Stay with that, imagining it, building it, creating it, the little details. Maybe it's not quite purple, but a little magenta. Maybe there's sparkles. And then when you feel complete in that little force field, come back to your body, come back to your breath. And keep this divine light, this little force field of protection with you throughout this whole class. You can always come back to it. You can pause this video and just really come back to that aura that you've built and created whenever you need to. This is the source of your energy protection. So when we call upon spirit and our spirit guides, we need to be able to discern what is loving energy and what is not. That's where it can get a teeny scary maybe when you first think about calling in your spirit guides. It can sound a little intimidating. But with this protection of the divine light force field and these other tools I'm going to give you, I promise you it's going to be so beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to share, so stay in your bubble. I'm going to share a little background of myself. I love stories, I love reading, I love writing stories, I love hearing stories. So I thought the best way to start this was to tell my story. I'm no guru. I haven't studied spirit guides or studied communicating with spirit guides. I have practiced it through my entire life because my mother Tracy. I love her so much. She's quite the angel. She taught me how to do it when I was 7. When I was 7, I was having reoccurring nightmares of my brothers. I have 2 older brothers. I was having reoccurring nightmares of my 2 older brothers getting abducted by aliens. It was so scary. It makes me a little emotional because it was so scary when I was a child having these dreams, and I kept having them. And I think at one point, I had them like 2 or 3 nights in a row, and I finally went to my mom. And I said, Mom, I'm having these really scary dreams, and John and Jesse are getting abducted by aliens, and it's really scary and really real. And she taught me in that moment. I remember we were sitting in our red Astro van. I think we were on our way to school. And she taught me in that moment how to surround myself with divine light. So what I just taught you. She taught me how to do that. She also said that saying the word God, so saying I am surrounded with God's divine light, I am with God, that word banishes any evil energy, bad energy, negative energy, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to use the word God if it doesn't resonate with you. If that word totally makes you cringe, use divine. Say divine. I am no longer scared of the word God. I for sure made me cringe when I was a younger adult. I've made peace with it, and so I will say throughout this, I will use God's divine light or God. I'm referring to God, the universe, so you can just use the universe, whatever word that you use to describe the universal flow of life. I'm just sharing that because I will use that word, but you can disregard it if it really triggers you. So back to my story. My mother would say, surround yourself with God's divine light. So I did. I practiced it. I did it. I didn't have nightmares. I was like, oh, my mom's magic. There's many times where I thought my mom was magic. She still is. So then, soon after that, probably within that same year, I was protecting myself with divine light. And then I remember at some point that same year really recognizing that I had an imaginary friend. And my imaginary friend, I still have, is Jasper. And I remember telling my mom, I have this imaginary friend, and she started to teach me about spirit guides. And she said, maybe Jasper's one of your spirit guides. And he or she, it kind of interchanges really. Jasper's fluid. He goes that way, this way, sometimes just morphless form. She said, so my mom said, maybe Jasper is a spirit guide of yours. So talk with Jasper. Ask Jasper to give you guidance. Surround yourself with God's divine light and ask Jasper to give you guidance. And I said, okay. So then I started communing with Jasper more, and I learned that Jasper was one of my spirit guides and that they are here to protect me. And so I would call upon Jasper in spirit, surrounding myself with God's divine light, and I would get guidance and protection, especially when I would feel scared, because as little children, we get scared of the dark, scared of bugs, scared of whatever. So I'm sharing that because I've been working with spirit guides since I was 7. I'm turning 36 next month, so you can do the math. And now, fast forwarding to Halloween of 2024. I had a miscarriage that night when the veil is thin. And we got home from trick-or-treating. She's now 4. We got home from trick-or-treating and I was bleeding. I went pee and I was bleeding. The most heartbreak I have ever felt. The next day was November 1st, the Day of the Dead in Mexican cultures and many cultures. And that day I was bleeding a lot. I lost so much blood. I had no idea the danger I was in. I just thought it was part of the process. I had never had a miscarriage. I just thought it was part of the process. And my husband asked if I wanted him to stay with me that day. And I said, no, it was just part of the process and I'm okay. And then by about, I'm not actually even sure, my guess would be around noon. I was pretty much out of it at that point. And at around noon, we'll say noon 1, I was in the bathroom on the toilet bleeding, and I passed out. I hit my head on the floor, and I have no idea how long I was there for. I remember waking up, being so scared, covered in blood, and I crawled over. I was so out of it, and I crawled over to some towels, and I curled up on the towels, and I called in my guides. And I said, please send me Byron. That's my husband. I said, please send me Byron. I'm so scared right now. I don't want to die. That's how I felt in that moment. I thought I was going to die. I said, please send me Byron. And then it was within 2 minutes, maybe 5, I hear Byron's truck. He has this loud-ass diesel truck. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, guides. Oh my gosh, thank you, God, thank you, Spirit. And from then on, so that was in 2024. I'm releasing this video in 2026, so a year and a half. Every day, probably 2-3 times a day, I have communed with my spirit guides. I have found it to be so supportive and so all-encompassing, because we know as humans that this physical realm is what is in front of us, and we're in this 3-dimensional plane, but we all know there is more. We all know there's more connecting us. We all know there's some form of God or universe or this universal web that connects us all. And when we tune into it and ask for help, oh my gosh, they want to help us so bad. The spirits and the spirit guides are so vast and so abundant. They are infinite and eternal, and they want to help us. They see us in this 3-dimensional world, and they're like, oh my gosh, please call upon us. At least from what they have shared with me over the past really year and a half diving into this. So, the practice I am going to share with you now is somewhat simple. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible because anyone can do this, and I want you to feel really safe when you do this. Let's get started with that. Okay, so thank you for listening to my story. I just felt it was very important to share where I am coming from in teaching this. So, when you start, if you want, you can light candles, set out your crystals, make an altar. You can do the whole thing. You also don't have to do that. If it feels good to you, go for it. Do it. Also, if you don't want to, that's okay too. Some days you also might be like, ooh, let's do this and do it big. And then some days you might be like, meh, I just need some guidance. Lighting a candle is a very just beautiful practice of lighting it and saying thank you. So even if you're not communing with your spirit guides or asking for anything, when I light a candle, pretty much anytime I light a candle these days, I will just say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit guides. Thank you, God. Because I want to show my gratitude. And that is a huge piece of communing with your guides, is we all want gratitude and we all appreciate gratitude. And for the support and love the spirits give us, it is essential that we say thank you and show gratitude. So however way that looks like for you, like the lighting the candle I just shared, or saying it out loud, making an altar for them, whatever way you can show gratitude is always appreciated. Okay, I totally did write some notes because I was like, I just need to make sure we hit all points. So I think we're going to practice. I'm going to kind of demonstrate it in a way for you. So when you are first starting, so if you've lightly communicated with your spirit guides or had dreams maybe, or done classes around spirit guides or your intuition, beautiful. And I hope this resonates, and it probably will be similar. When I really want to tune in deeply, I say it out loud. When we say things out loud, we personally hear ourselves differently. And so when you hear the tone of your voice, what you're asking for, what you're giving gratitude towards, you will think differently when you hear it out loud from your mouth. I promise. So start with saying it out loud. And it's going to sound, this is just kind of a script, but you are going to totally create your own words around it. You are going to create your own script. I'm just giving you the tools and the tidbits. Okay. So, sounds something like this. You can bring your hands to your heart, your hands to your thighs, really whatever feels good. Hands to my heart sounds good right now. So I say, hi universe, or God, it's Tamra, or your name. Please surround me with divine light and protection while I call upon my guides. My intention with calling in my spirit guides is, fill in the blank. I'm going to just say, if you're first doing this, my intention is to meet one of my spirit guides. And then from there, I am now calling in my angels, ancestors, and spirit guides of the highest truth and highest love. Keep imagining your divine light bubble, and always say, every time you commune with the spirit, you must say, this is like the one key point. My spirit guides, ancestors, and angels of the highest truth and the highest love. They are the purest energy of love and light. That is who you are calling in. Every time, say the highest truth and highest love. So, that is like the little script. Very short, very sweet. You will change the words. You will make it yours. If you are like me, and I think maybe this is, no, I'm going to rewind. I'm just going to go for it. If you are like me, you may have a really big spirit team. You might have a lot of guides and a lot of ancestors and angels that want to commune with you. And when you first call them in, ask for one speaker. That's why I said my intention is I would like to meet one guide. Just one. You probably have hundreds. You need one speaker because lots of them will want to commune with you. And it's a little overwhelming. At least at first. Some days I kind of will forget to say one. And I will just say calling in my guides, calling in my angels and ancestors of the highest truth and highest love. And sometimes at first I will get a pouring in of information or images, or feels like the room is full all of a sudden. So then if that happens, you can say, I need one speaker. Please send me one speaker. And then one will speak. You can also ask for guidance in your dreams. If it sounds a little intimidating at first to directly call them in to your field, like right now, right this second, ask for them in your dreams. And it's a little it's the dream world, so it's a little bit more doable to be like, oh, it's a spirit guide. Okay, but I'm dreaming. This feels safe. The dream world, yeah. I'm like, what else is there? I think that is the gist. So the little script I shared, just some tips, of course. So always calling in the highest truth and highest love. I'm going to say that like probably 3 times before the end of this video. You want to call in the highest truth and highest love, the most divine, the most God-aligned guides. You are always in charge. You are the boss. You are in charge and the boss of your spirit guides. Of course, in a synchronistic, loving way. If you ever feel out of control, or if you ever feel scared or in fear, surround yourself with God's divine light and stop the process. So if you ever feel out of control or feel like you are being bossed around, like if you are receiving messages and it feels scary, it feels like they're bossing you, you can say, no, thank you. I am surrounded by God's divine light and I am only welcoming energy of the highest truth and highest love. And you can close that. And it's done. You can sage, you can do whatever you need to do. Dance it out. I have never had an experience when I am directly calling in my guides where I felt in fear or being controlled. So I think that's just from learning early on that you align with love and light. And I have had, just to share, I have had like a spirit attached to me that was a little more negative. When I was younger, when I was like drinking and doing drugs a lot when I was in my early 20s, and I was at a music festival and it like latched on. You can say it like hitchhiked, I've heard that term. And it took me a week to realize, or about 4 or 5 days to realize I was like, oh, this thing is here and on me. And basically I just surrounded myself with God's divine light over and over again. I saged my room and out loud, I just was like, you are gone. You must go and you are not welcome and you must be gone. And just saged and said that over and over again and totally surrounded myself with divine light, and I never had an issue ever again. So just sharing that you are only calling in the highest truth and highest love, but that is a little tool if anything does ever latch on or does feel unsafe or fearful. You have the control, the power to banish it very quickly. I know that's not the fun stuff, but just to be on the safe side. I'm looking at my notes because I really think that is it. Always, last but not least, always end your conversation, your communing with the divine, with thank you. So when you call in your guides of the highest truth and highest love, you have an intention. You always want to go in with an intention of, it can be whatever, just either the smallest thing to the biggest thing. I want to meet one guide. I need guidance on my next step in life. I'm having a hard time sleeping. I need help with sleeping. Anything you can ask. And they want to help, and they will give you guidance. And it may not fall into your head right away, but it might come up like later that day or the next day where you're like, oh, that's what I was looking for. And then end with thank you. Always say thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit guides. Thank you, God. Thank you for guiding me, and thank you for supporting me. Always. just as I will say thank you for tuning in. Go practice. You can come back to this video at any time. Email me anytime, any questions you have around this. I love, 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 love talking about this stuff. I know my first and foremost classes are Pilates and functional fitness, but as I have grown into this deeper part of myself that's more spiritual and more in tune with the divine guidance of life and the universal current of life, I love talking about this stuff. I love teaching it when I can, and that's why I've really felt called from Spirit to share this practice of communicating with our spirit guides, because it is so essential to align and fulfill our mind, body, and spirit. So thank you all. Email me if you have any questions, and happy communing. I'll see you next time.